So honestly, when I saw the grid for the Clic box, I was like kind of worried about it. You know, this slip over thing versus the Velcro. Not, you know, is it going to stay, you know, forward like, or is it going to be floppy or whatever? But after I used it, I'm really loving this thing. I mean, it's $129. But after using it, I can honestly say I don't mind paying the $129 because it really is that well made. Now this, again, is just like the Angler, in my opinion. But this, this grid, the way it slips over is, my God, does it make it easy to put on without the Velcro sound? And it stays really, really well. And I don't see it loosening up or I don't know, going off or bad or whatever you want to call it, or, you know, getting soft. But I do love it. So I'm going to do a shoot. When I use a grid like this and it's a smaller light, I'm thinking, oh, this is great for a backlight, you know, a rim light and so forth, which I'm going to use, you know, mostly for this shoot, because I'll use the B10 with, you know, with a softbox or a beauty dish or whatever, and I'll use this as a backlight. But I'll show you what this looks like with the A2 and the Clic box, and with and without the grid, just so you have an idea what this does. But if you were worried about the grid and the slip-on, it works extremely well. It's really easy to put on. I like it a lot better than Velcro. So I gotta give Profoto props on this grid, because it really is impressive. And like I said, it's firm, and I don't see it going anywhere. And it works really well. So anyway, I just wanted to give you my 2 cents on this. This is actually, if you do have the Clic Softbox, this is actually a really good purchase. And even if you have the Angler 24-inch, I think this would be a great purchase. Now, I know it's a lot more expensive than that, and this is the same price as the Angler Softbox, which, you know, doesn't make sense. But once you use this, it's pretty impressive. My only other question was, I'm wondering if this would work on the beauty dish, that Profoto's beauty dish, which would be really kind of cool, because, you know, a dual purpose thing. So, and I just don't know if it will fit correctly. So I'm going to try to give it a shot here. It's a little loose, but it will work. So if you do have the Profoto OCF beauty dish, you have a grid for it. Now, like, I would use this with the diffuser and then this over top. But that'll make a nice, you know, portable softbox beauty dish with grid kind of a thing, which I wish I did this before the shoot, because I would have loved to try this, but I didn't. So next time. Anyway, here's a little bit of the shoot, and give you an idea how this works. If you have any questions, leave them below. And, you know, again, thanks for watching. So I'm going to start off with the A2 up front and the grid on, and you'll see how this really contains the light from hitting the background as much. And the A2, you know, did perfect up here. And I have the B10 in the back with a grid on it, just for, you know, quick hair light. But this, you know, like, I hate to say that I'm really loving this at $129, but that slip over, I'm really surprised on how much I do love it. And to be fair, I hate Velcro with a passion, so there's that. But there's that's just the A2 with the grid, and you can see how well it's controlling the light from hitting the background. And I mean, if you just turn it a left or right just a little bit, it'll control it even more. But this here, just to pull this off like this, that's everything. And it really is taut. It fits well, and it, you know, it stays vertical, if you will, like, or, you know, straight on the light to control the light. The Velcro ones, you know, that just ripping just drives me insane. And I know it's, you know, it's petty, but, you know, it is something. So, and now the next photo is just with that, and you can see the coverage. Now you can still control the light a little bit if, you know, if you turn it more and feather it more, but just so you can see the difference with it. Now, I moved it to the back, the A2 to the back with the grid on it, and I'm just using it as a hair light, and then the B10 up front. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of this shoot. I do use V-flats a lot, just to even light or distribute light or subtract light. I love them, but you don't have to get V-flats. I mean, literally you can use pieces of cardboard if you wanted to, you know, black and white, rather than buying into the V-flat world thing. They are expensive and they're big. You know, I know they fold down, but still carrying those things is a pain. But if you have a little home studio or a studio, they're really good investment, because I mean, what you can do with V-flats and one light is really impressive. Anyway, just like I said, I'm just showing you a little bit of the shoot. Little tweaks with the lights, just turning them just a little bit will completely change the look, even with V-flats, even with bounce light. You really got to play with it. But that grid, you know, with basically what we're talking about, you can see I just use a subtle hair light in the back. It gives a little bit of separation. I know a lot of people want to go overboard with their light. Now for this, I didn't even change it because I just wanted just that hint of light in the back. You know, it is up higher, it's gridded. And remember, like, you can see the light, but from where I'm shooting, it really, you know, stops it from hitting the lens. And this is, again, just those little tweaks, little turns. Take the shot, try it, practice, and you'll see how much of a difference it is. You know, for those of you who don't shoot strobe all the time, it's easier than you think it is. And again, all this could be done with speed lights or Godox or any light system you have. But as far as the Angler box versus the Profoto Clic box, I still think, you know, basically the same thing. I really do. But, you know, a lot cheaper with the Angler. But I do love the grid. Now, the grid for the Angler that comes with the 24-inch, it's not a bad grid, don't get me wrong, but it's that harder material with the Velcro and the ripping and that sound that drives me insane. But this one with I hope they do this with more sizing, because I really kind of love it. And it works so well. I don't know how well it would work on a larger light, you know, because it's just a slip over, but I can imagine it would work the same, I would hope, but it would have a little bit more give on a larger light. But the smaller light, like I said, it works really well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this shoot. I'll just throw a couple more up and a couple more seconds of video here. And if you have any questions, leave them below. And again, this is not a review for the grid. It's just, I just wanted to show it to you and show you what it looks like. Oh, for this last one, I just took off the beauty dish off the B10 and I'm adding a straight grid. You know, for those of you who are afraid of hard light, I love hard light and I love the way it looks. Now, if your subject has bad skin, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to retouch, but it's kind of worth it in the end. You know, because the hard light look is just everything to me. Anyway, enjoy.